Hey guys, every airsofter has at least one thing they wish Airsoft had. It could be something that would make Airsoft more enjoyable, friendly, affordable, whatever. So I spent a little bit of time coming up with a list of things I wish Airsoft had, which I believe would make Airsoft more enjoyable, or better all around. As always, if you want to pitch in and let me know what you wish Airsoft had or even didn't have to improve Airsoft, drop it in the comments. I'd love to give them a read. Alright, jumping into number 1, I wish Airsoft had less proprietary gun internals. So many Airsoft guns that steer away from the standard gearbox specs utilize proprietary stuff that honestly can be near impossible to replace once broken, worn out, or discontinued. Furthermore, this also means that these parts can't be upgraded, or there's no aftermarket parts available to replace them with. And yes, 3D printed stuff does make this a little easier, but also not. Proprietary hop-ups, gearboxes, gears, triggers, motors, connections, electronic doohickeys, all these things have a negative long-term impact on Airsoft. And don't even get me started with proprietary magazines. Like, how evil can some of these brands be? Obviously, there's situations where you need a proprietary magazine, like having a World War II style replica. I'm not talking about those kinds of Airsoft guns. If a unique gun with proprietary magazines gets discontinued, you're kinda screwed if you misplace or damage your existing mags. Alright, number 2. I wish Airsoft had more original designed, non-replica style Airsoft guns. While I really do appreciate we have a real-world catalog of guns for the Airsoft industry to be inspired with, not all Airsoft guns have to be replicas. Although I'm not saying all these guns are the best, they're unique, and some are actually really good. The G&G SMC9, APS UAR, My Bullpup, just to name a few. None of these guns are directly based off of a real-world counterpart. I want more of this. I mean, shit, I couldn't even get a UAR in Canada. A shame. Probably still dodged a bullet not buying one, but I wish guns like these were more seriously developed by the Airsoft industry instead of just waiting for the next M4 replica to drop. I really can't tell the difference anymore. Speaking of which, as we move to number 3, I wish Airsoft had less M4s and AKs. Now, this is hard to wish for, because every other Airsoft replica has far less aftermarket support. I mean, just trying to find a way to slap a Picatinny rail on an FAL might be enough to turn people away from that platform. I just wish manufacturers could devote more metal and plastic into these less popular replica platforms. People would probably buy them more if they could easily mount optics on them without buying an $80 always out of stock rail adapter, or something like that. I wish these less popular guns had more in-house magazine support too, because that's a pretty big reason they don't get purchased, or played with. We shouldn't have to rely on aftermarket, third-party support to keep non-M4 or AK platforms alive. These platforms should be long-term supported from in-house as a bare minimum, and when manufacturers release a new gun, it shouldn't make previous models obsolete at the factory line. Parts should be reasonably compatible or interchangeable, not proprietary, which just makes the previous model just awkward or discontinued. That's why M4s and AKs are so popular. It's almost impossible to screw them up. Everything is so compatible and available. Manufacturers can't just release an M4 that's proprietary because it won't sell. Yes, it still happens here and there. Buyers more than likely avoid guns like these because they're afraid aftermarket stuff won't work with it. If non-M4s and AKs got the same level of attention to aftermarket compatibility, they'd sell. Plain and simple. Number 4. I wish Airsoft had less snipers. That's gonna piss a few people off. So let me just say one thing first. You deserve to choose whatever playstyle makes you happy. I don't hate snipers, I don't think they're a waste of a good teammate. This is just something, as the video title says, I wish about Airsoft. Pushing objectives can be really hard when half your team is sitting back sniping. That's really all it is for me. Let's say we're trying to capture the church up on the hill, a common game mode at my field. Eventually, snipers run out of targets and can't push up because of their restricted engagement distance. And the game itself runs a little slow because the troops on the attacking side aren't really attacking up close in droves, applying constant pressure. Instead, it becomes 5 to 10 guys supported by 5 to 10 snipers. It's not always like this, but I know it can become a problem. I have a whole opinion on sniping, and I have a video explaining why I personally stopped, so I don't want to get into depth about it here. I firmly believe the team is more effective with more grunts up front, equipped to be so more than anything else. More snipers on defense, however, I see nothing wrong, but give me a magnified optic on my M4 and I'll reach the same range anyway, and I'll be more useful when the enemy team gets up close. I'm just trying to say that too many snipers can slow a game right down. It's not my preference. Moving on. Both number 5 and 6 are gonna be indoor airsoft specific. So, first off, I wish there were more indoor airsoft fields dedicated to pistols and shotguns only, or at least had a day devoted to these guns only. I just think this would encourage a little more proper CQB gameplay and give shotguns a better chance to shine. Let's be honest, they kinda don't get much time in the sun. When you throw regular ARs and SMGs into the mix, you really start to increase the range of engagements, and then pistols and shotguns just start becoming useless again. I just think a pistol and shotgun only day would really make things more tactical. It would be a friendly dose of variety an indoor field could use to spice up gameplay. I'm not asking for swords or slappers only, I'm just asking we see what happens when everyone hangs up their primaries for a day. And yes, I know you can drum mag and HPA your pistol. I'm not against that, honestly, and speedsofters are also going to speedsoft. I just personally like the idea of a pistol and shotguns only type of game. I think, generally speaking, we're deprived of that type of gameplay. Maybe it'll be like snipers and shotties only in Halo. Something unique and fun to do once in a while for the sake of doing something different. Number 6. I wish there were nightclub style indoor airsoft fields. Guys, imagine a John Wick nightclub level of indoor field. Maybe also pistol and shotgun only. I don't know. Club music, strobing lights, glow-in-the-dark obstructions or cover, similar to the interior of a laser tag arena maybe, but airsoft. Airsoft, from what I've seen, field to field, is reasonably samey. Not an insult, it's just because of the limitations field owners have, but imagine an indoor field with the same audio and visual quality as an indoor rave. It would really make for a unique, unforgettable atmosphere. Obviously, there's probably safety concerns playing airsoft in a loud, flashy atmosphere like this one, I guess. I mean, what if an injured player needs a ref's attention, but there's just loud music blasting? And visually, things are kind of crazy in there. Maybe every player is given a wireless SOS pinging device that alerts a referee in charge of the music and PA system, alerting them to stop the music, talk on the PA, and pause the game and assist the injured player. I don't know, it's 2024, so this isn't impossible to do. Obviously, abusing an SOS device like that might get you tossed from the field for the day, so it wouldn't be something you can just press whenever you feel like it. I don't know, just an idea, but definitely not an impossible one. I just think this type of indoor atmosphere would make for a unique test to one's battle senses. It would be hard to rely on your sense of hearing, and even sight would be difficult because of lighting. Everything white would glow, similar to a bowling alley actually. I just think it would be exciting. Personally, if I had the money, I would run a place like this if it was even possible. And it would have to be cleverly designed. Anyway, crazy talk is over. Number 7, let's go back to something everybody wishes for. Orange tips that aren't a pain to remove. I know you can just use a blow dryer and heat up the glue, but why can't manufacturers just standardize a grub screw locking the orange tip into place? Not glue, and especially not both. I know some countries or states in the US have laws where an orange tip is mandatory, but maybe include an orange tip in the box? Does it really need to be almost permanently attached to the gun? And yeah, it's probably an issue with shipping this item internationally into US borders, whatever, still super lame, and I wish that wasn't the case. I just think it would save a lot of airsofters the headache. We're not the smartest bunch, okay? I'm gonna admit that. So when you glue an orange tip to your gun, many of us treat it like the final boss battle we take forever to defeat. In the end, we're sweaty, there's cuts on our fingers, we've popped an eye vessel, and just finished crying for 3 hours. Yes, the orange tip is finally off, but at what cost? Everything. Number 8. I wish airsoft fields had more vehicle-based game modes. Yeah, I know, this is probably expensive for airsoft fields to do on a regular basis, but I just wish for more of it. Some of the most fun I've had airsofting was when vehicular combat was utilized. Vehicle transports, using moving vehicles as cover, using vehicles to push objectives, the vehicles themselves being the objective, just really fun stuff overall. It helps make airsoft feel grander. It certainly did for me. Now, I wouldn't trust regular airsofters to drive the vehicles, but I'd have specific non-player drivers be in charge of that. I remember last summer during our big game event, I saw an enemy APC approaching us, ready to just dump a bunch of players off right in front of our defensive position. Man, was I scared the closer and closer that APC got. Just listening to the engine, knowing it was like 30 feet in front of me gave me chills. Vehicles in airsoft are cool, just gotta be safe and have strict rules on how they're utilized. Number 9. I wish airsoft fields had some form of mandatory lower face protection. I think this is another one that might piss some people off, so sorry, not sorry. Look, it's just my preference, and it doesn't have to be a mesh mask. I understand some people really hate mesh masks. Could be a thin, breathable fabric covering the mouth, or any of the things people use. I just think it can't be nothing. If all I see is a face, I'm shooting the face. And if it ends up being a broken tooth, or a busted lip, or a BB straight into your nose hole, well, I know I'm not supposed to feel bad at that point, but you know I can't help but feel bad. The head really could be the best place to get shot for a lot of people, if everyone protected it equally. Shoot my mouth, my eye, my forehead, ear, I don't care. I'm covering all of that. It might startle me a little, but I won't feel pain. Shoot my thigh, my neck, my hand, I'm gonna feel that. I'd rather get shot in the head. I know it's a comfort thing, but in P-Dog's world, when I'm king of all things airsoft, you can't play if you don't cover your lower face with at least something. And finally, number 10. I wish airsoft had less elitism. It's not crazy, but every airsoft community has those guys that just gatekeep everything. They'll talk down to the people who have lesser gear or what they believe is the wrong gear. They talk shit about other brands, cheap clothing off Amazon, or even just talk about how you're a noob at airsoft in general. And they mean it. These guys are no fun and don't really welcome fresh airsofters to the hobby with open arms. They aren't really teachers, they're more just airsoft snobs that never think they're wrong and always think what they know is best and everyone should do things their way. I just wish airsoft had less of this in general. There is no true singular way to do airsoft, or buy airsoft, or wear airsoft. The more welcoming you are, the more airsoft will grow. I've actually made a video on elitism a while back, so feel free to check it out in the video description. I think I'm a pretty clear example of something elitists would probably try and chew up and spit out. I'm not using mil-spec gear, I'm basically LARPing as an animal half the time, and I've chosen creativity over practicalism. I'd say just give it a rest and let people do what they want. I spend too much of my Monday to Friday doing shit for other people to earn a living. I can't be bothered to do things your way for free on the weekend. Alright, those are my 10 things I wish airsoft had or didn't have, I guess. Let me know what you guys think about my list in the comments, or tell me something you wish airsoft had that would make airsoft better for you. Very interested in what you guys have to say. Airsoft ain't perfect, obviously. I think I've said that more than once now. But maybe one day we'll get what we want. See you guys next time.
Woo!